Welcome to the science lesson. So, in the last class we were discussing about bones and muscles, right? What lesson we were discussing? We were discussing bones and muscles. So, in that lesson, bones and muscles. So, when we were learning this lesson, we learned about the skeletal system, isn't it? How does the skeletal system, the framework of bones or framework of our body is skeletal system, how this skeletal system protects our body, how it protects our internal organs. So, in this way we were learning about skeletal system, then we learned about the different types of bones, the different, totally how many bones do you have in our body, do you know? There are 206 bones. So, when a small baby is born, it has more bones, 306. They got again attached when it grows, and total permanent bones we have is 206 bones. So, in that way we were learning about the skeletal system. Then we learned about different shapes, different sizes of the bones, the bone with which our nose and ears are made of, cartilage tissue. So, in that way we learned about our skull, which protects the main part, that is brain. Then we learned about our spine, which is made up of 33 bones, which is S in shape, isn't it? And the main function of the spine is to protect our spinal cord. So, that is about the spine. Then next we learned about the rib cage. So, what is the rib cage? Rib cage is the bones that you have on the front portion and which get attached to the front bone at sternum here, and they get attached to the backbone. So, that way we have 12 pairs of ribs and 10 pairs are attached like that. They protect the internal organs like lungs and heart, and the 2 pairs are not attached, so they are called as floating ribs. So, in that way we learned about the skull, we learned about the spine, we learned about our rib cage. Now we will learn about hands and feet. Now we learn about hands and feet. So, today's topic we start from here, that is hands and feet. Now, you are able to hold a pencil or pen, isn't it? You write in your book. Don't you write? You use a pencil. I am holding a chalk piece in my hand. You hold a pencil or a pen. How is this formed? Because of the movement, isn't it? Because of the movement and flexibility, isn't it? Because of the movement and flexibility, you are able to move all this, isn't it? So, more than half of bones in our body are present in our hand and feet. More than half of our bones, more than half of our bones are present in hand and feet. So, if you see in that way, there are more than 27 bones in your hand and more than 26 bones in your feet. You know, the lower part of your leg is said to be feet, isn't it? You wear chappals in your feet, isn't it? So that in that way, more than half of our bones are present in hand and feet. 27 bones we have in our hand and we have 26 bones in our feet. So now let us learn about the limbs. Now how many pairs of limbs do you have? Limbs. 2 pairs of limbs we have. Now what do you understand by limbs? When I say limbs, these hands are called as 4 limbs. We have 2 pairs of limbs. How many pairs? 2 pairs of limbs. 4 limbs. 4 limbs. 4 limbs and hands. Those are 4 limbs. Hands. And hind limbs. Hind limbs. Hind limbs are legs. So in this way our body has 2 pairs of limbs. So 4 limbs are hands and hind limbs are legs. We have 2 pairs of limbs. 4 limbs and hind limbs are there. So now our hands. See, these hands are joined to the spine with the shoulder blade and collarbone. Shoulder blade and collarbone. These are hands now. See, there is the upper arm. This is upper arm and this is called as lower arm. So these upper hands, this total thing is a hand. So this hand is joined here to the shoulder bone here with the help of shoulder blade to the backbone, and this is called to be the collarbone. So this is joined with the help of the shoulder blades and collarbones. So the upper arm has a bone called as humerus. So here part to here part is the upper arm, and upper arm has a long bone called as humerus. Upper arm has a long bone called humerus. This is the long bone which is having humerus, and the lower arm. So this is the lower arm, and this lower arm has two bones, tibia and fibula respectively. Those are the two bones are ulna and radius and ulna. Lower arm has two bones, radius and ulna respectively. So our upper arm has a long bone called as humerus, and this lower arm has two bones, that is radius and ulna. Two bones are joined, and it is joined, and that is called as radius and ulna. Now at the elbow. Now this upper arm, this is lower, isn't it? This upper arm and this lower arm are joined at the elbow. This portion is called as elbow. What is this portion called as? Elbow. Now we have two pairs of limbs. Those are forelimbs and hind limbs. Those are forelimbs and hind limbs. Forelimbs and hands. Hind limbs means legs, isn't it? So this upper arm has a long bone, and it is called as humerus. It's called as humerus, and the lower arm has two bones, and those two bones are called as radius and ulna respectively. So this forearm and this lower arm, upper arm and lower arm are joined at the place known as elbow. They are joined at the place known as elbow. Upper arm and lower arm join at elbow. Where do upper arm and lower arm join? Upper arm and lower arm join at elbow. Upper arm and lower arm join at elbow. Isn't it? So this is the elbow, and they join at the elbow. Now the upper leg or the thigh is known as joined by a longest bone of our body, and that is known as femur or thigh bone. So upper arm and lower arm are joined at elbow. Upper arm and lower arm are joined at elbow. In the upper leg, thigh is made up of strong long bone known as femur, which is the longest bone. So again we have learned about the hand. Now we are learning about the leg. Leg means upper leg, lower leg will be there. So in the upper leg, there is one bone, that is the longest bone in our body, and it is called as femur. What is this called as? It is called as femur or thigh bone. So in the upper leg, we have a longest bone called as femur bone or thigh bone. So, and in the lower leg, again we have two bones. Those are tibia and fibula. Two bones, lower leg. Lower leg has two bones, tibia and fibula respectively. And tibia and fibula. So we have two bones in our lower leg. So now this lower leg and upper leg join at knee. Lower leg and upper leg and lower leg join at knee. Where do they join? They join at knee. Now we have talked about this hands and feet, four limbs, isn't it? Two pairs of limbs, four limbs and hind limbs. So in that way we learned about the hand. Upper arm, lower arm. Upper arm has a bone femur, lower arm has two bones, that is radius and ulna. These two join at elbow. Then we came to leg. Leg is having a bone, that is thigh bone. Upper leg has a bone known as thigh bone or femur, which is the longest bone in our body. And lower leg has two bones, that is tibia and fibula, isn't it? These are the two bones that you find in your lower leg, and upper leg and lower leg join at knee. This is called as knee, where there is a movement, that is called as knee. In that way, hands, upper arm and lower arm join at elbow, upper leg and lower leg join at knee. So this is about the hand and feet. Now let us learn about the joints. Let us learn about the joints. Now joint, what do you mean by a joint? Now we must learn about the joint. Joints. Now let us learn what is a joint. A joint is a place where two bones join each other, isn't it? The two bones join each other. So now these bones are held together by flexible tissues. These bones are held together by flexible tissues called ligaments. Flexible tissues called as ligaments. So you have joints. Joints then help the bones to join at each other. So these bones are joined by a flexible tissue called as ligaments. So this, if there were no joints in your body, how would your body be? It will be stiff like a plastic doll or a wooden doll, isn't it? If there were no joints in your body would be very stiff, like a wooden doll or a plastic doll, whatever it is. So, because of these joints that you are able to move, that your body is able to move. So, if you take your face, the only movable part is the lower jaw, isn't it? We talked about our skull. When we are talking about the skull, we talked about the bones that are present in the skull. So, when we are talking about the bones that are present in the skull, what happened was we have only movable jaw, that is the lower jaw. Only movable one is the only movable jaw in our face, movable jaw. Only movable joint in our face is lower jaw. Isn't it? It is lower jaw. Only movable part is lower jaw, isn't it? So most of our joints are movable. So without these joints, we would not be able to move. I told you, it will be like a stiff one. So in that way, so they hold our bones and allow us to move. So these joints allow us to move here. So in that way, we have two types of joints in our body. So these joints allow us in movement. Joints allowing the movement. Because of these joints only we are able to move. So those are two types of joints are there. Movable joints. Movable joints and immovable joints. Movable joints and immovable joints. How many types of joints are there? Movable joints and immovable joints we have. So let us learn about this type of joints. So I told you in the face we have only lower jaw, that is the movable part. Now most of our joints are movable only. Most of our joints are movable. So the movable joints mostly we find are in our hands and legs. Movable joints mostly we find in our hands and legs because there only we find maximum movements. Isn't it? Like they help you in walking. From one place to another we have to move. Hands also we have to do a lot of work with our hands. So they have to move. So most part of our movable joints are found in our hands and legs where we need the movement. So there are different types of movable joints. I told you joints are of two types. Those are movable joints and immovable joints. So different types of movable joints. So let us learn about different types of movable joints. The different types of movable joints are different types of movable joints. Different types of movable joints are number one, ball and socket joint. Ball and socket joint. Second one is gliding joint. Gliding joint. Third one is hinge joint. Hinge joint. Now fourth one is the pivot joint. So now different types of movable joints are ball and Now this type ball and socket. Socket, you understand? A thing that will hold something. So ball and socket joint. So if this is the socket like this, it has to hold. It has to hold the ball and socket joint. For example, you see that plugs will be there, no? For putting a plug, what you do, you have a socket in your switchboard. 3 pin holes. 3 pins hole will be there. That is called as socket. And this plug must exactly fit into it, doesn't it? So in that way, it is the socket and this. So this is the socket. One of the bone which is socket like that, and then it has a ball-like thing that fits into it. So this way, this ball and socket joint is mostly found in hip and shoulder bones. Hip and shoulder. Where do you find it? Hip and shoulder. We find it hip and shoulder. Hip and shoulders. Isn't it? Hip and shoulders we find it. Hip and shoulder is so clear. Your movement is there. So this is the shoulder part. So you are moving leg. Leg part near the hip you have this hip and socket joint is the joint that is found near hip and shoulder. This movement will allow you maximum movements. Isn't it? Maximum you are able to move your hand. See here? In all directions, isn't it? With the help of this ball and socket joint leg. You are able to move your leg, lift it up, again down, isn't it? So this is the hip bone. So ball and socket joints are formed in the hip and shoulder bones. They allow us to swing our arms. See here, we are swinging our arms. So in that way they allow the number of movements in our body. Next see about the gliding joint. Now this gliding joint is found between the muscles of 2 flat surfaces. 2 flat surfaces do overlap one another. So this type of bone are mostly found in wrist and ankles. Wrist is this part of your hand is wrist. See here? So when you are doing what is happening, the flat bone is coming down. So when you move it up, it will overlap the other bone that is present here. So it is gliding like this. So it is called as gliding bone, and this type of bone is found in wrist and ankles. You find this type of bones mostly in your wrist and ankle. Where do you find this type of bones? We find this type of bones in our wrist and ankles, gliding joint. So 2 flat surfaces they meet and the bone overlaps one another over the other. So this type of bones are found mostly in our wrist and ankles. Now let's come over to hinge joint. Now hinge joint. What do you mean by hinges? Have you seen the door? Door will have iron hinges at the end, isn't it? So with the help of that only opening and closing of the door is done. In the same way, opening of our arm and closing, it happens only in one direction. Isn't it? It happens only in one direction. Opening and closing happens only in one direction. So we have this type of hinge joint in our elbow and in our knee. Where do we find this type of joint? In elbow and knee. So this one happens only in one direction as it happening in the door. You can only open and close it. This also, you are able to close it and open it. It doesn't go in other direction, isn't it? So in this way, hinge joint is formed in elbow and knee. Now let us learn about the pivot joint. Now this joint is formed near your neck. Where do you find? In the neck. Pivot joint is formed near neck. Pivot joint is formed near neck. So here it joins your head to the spinal cord. Head to the spinal cord. In between here, this bone will be there. That is why you are able to move your head side to side like this, bend like this, and backward like this. You are move it forward, move it backward, side to side. So this pivot joint is present in the neck. So we have 2 types of joints, movable joints and immovable joints. Maximum we have movable joints in our body because they help in movement. So these movable joints are of different types. Now they are ball and socket joint, gliding joint, hinge joint and pivot joint. So these are the different types of movable joints that are found in our body. we will say hip and shoulder joints, we find ball and socket, because if this is the socket, the ball has to fit. So this way it has to move. The movement must be there. So that is ball and socket joint. We find in our hip and shoulders. Next, gliding. Two flat bones glide over each other, flat surfaces, and this movement is done. Those type of bones are mostly found in your wrist and ankles. Where do you find these bones? In wrist and ankles. Next is the hinge joint. This hinge joint is found in knee and elbow. Elbow in your knee part. Knee part is the place where your upper leg and lower leg join. Elbow is the place where upper arm and lower arm join is the elbow. So this type of hinge joint, which opening and closing happens. So this type of joint is formed in your elbow. So it is the hinge joint. Next is the pivot joint. This pivot joint is formed in your neck, isn't it? Which joins your neck part or head part to the next body, that is here to the cord here, and it helps in the movement of moving your head upwards, downwards, side to side, isn't it? Because of this pivot joint you are able to do. So this is about the bones. Now let us learn something about the muscular system. So what is this muscular system? So muscular system with a fleshy bundle. Let us learn about the muscular system. Now let us learn about this muscular system. These are fleshy bundles of thin elastic material in the body. Fleshy bundles of thin elastic material in the body. Elastic material in the body. This is the thin fleshy elastic material in the body is muscles. Nothing. Muscles. What are muscles? Muscles are fleshy bundles of thin elastic material in the body. Bones and joints alone cannot have movements. So with the help of these muscles only movement is possible. Bones alone cannot have the movement. Bones and joints cannot have movements all alone. Can't move all alone. They need the help of these muscles. So with the help of these muscles only you find movements in your body. So now these muscles only allow our body to bend. They also allow our body to swallow the food. You take food, don't you take food? How it has to go into your food pipe. So you are able to swallow. You are able to swallow because of these muscles only. So muscles, only bones and joints alone cannot perform movements in your body. They need the help of these muscles. So these muscles, how are they helping? They are helping in the movement. They are also helping in the in swallowing the food into the food canal and to exhale and inhale. Now exhaling. What do you mean by exhaling? Leaving out air. Exhaling, inhaling. You are taking in air, right? You are performing that breathing process. You are taking in air and leaving out air. So taking in of air is inhaling and leaving the air is called as exhaling. So you are performing this only with the help of these muscles. Now these muscles are attached to the bones with a band of tissues called tendons. Now how are these muscles attached? How are these muscles attached? These muscles are attached to the bones by a band of tissues called as tendons. So when you are contracting, what is happening? These tendons contract and this allows the movement of contraction. So when you release it, so only these also allow the movement of relaxation only. With the help of these tendons only, you are able to contract because you are having joints, you are having bones. All these alone don't allow the movement. Muscles are required for the movement, isn't it? So these muscles are attached to the bones with a band of tissues known as tendons. So when the muscles contract, what happens here? They pull on the tendons. They pull on the tendons and it shortens and cause our limbs to move. With the help of this, we are able to have movements in our body. So today, what you have learned is you have learned out about hands and limbs. Then you learned about the different types of pairs of limbs you have. we learned. Then we came to the joints. So what are joints? The place where bones meet each other is a joint. So in that way we learned about the joints. Again in the joint there are movable joints and immovable joints. So we learned about the movable joints and types of movable joints. Then we learned about the muscular system. So in the next class we will learn some more about the muscles and also the types of muscles that are present in our body. Till then, have a good day.